Thousands of people cross bridges daily in Milwaukee and don't think much of it.
But after a man fell to his death on the Kilbourne Avenue Bridge this summer, the I-Team started looking into bridge safety. As Sean Gallagher shares, there are features missing from cameras on these bridges.
A trip to Milwaukee turned tragic in August after 77-year-old Richard Dujardin fell to his death. He and his wife were visiting from Rhode Island when the Kilbourne Avenue Bridge opened up with him on it.
To sit there for over 2 minutes in terror, hanging on for your life, and your wife, your lifetime partner, watching you.
Jay Urban is the attorney representing Dujardin's family. He says what happened that day was preventable. He's on a mission to make sure it never happens again.
We don't even tell our residents or people from out of town that these bridges move. You know, there's not even a sign that says that. There's only a sign on one of them down on South KK.
As of Wednesday morning, the only signage we could find on the Kilbourne Avenue Bridge where this fatal fall happened were these messages to plow drivers, letting them know they needed to lift their blades before crossing the bridge.
If you care so much about your city plows, you should care about your citizens.
An investigation is ongoing into Dujardin's death, and Urban says all witnesses he's talked to say Dujardin was past the safety gates when the bridge started to rise.
He was about at the midpoint of the bridge, almost to the exact midpoint where it cracks and then opens up.
This is not the first time someone reported an issue with a bridge. Weeks after Dujardin's death, Attorney Urban sent the I-Team this video of the State Street Bridge. The driver recording the video is stopped at one end with warning lights flashing, while the safety gate arm is down on the other side. Despite that, cars continued to drive around the arm and over the bridge, not knowing if it could rise at any time. We emailed this video to the Department of Public Works. A spokesperson sent us this incident report showing the bridge remote panel had to be reset before it began working properly again.
So is the queue for the St. Paul Bridge operator to start.
And Jake Schinelli, who owns a local tour boat company in Milwaukee, says a few years ago, his boat was hit by one of those bridges. No one was hurt, but he says the city admitted operator error and a settlement was reached, though the I-Team could not independently confirm this.
Welcome aboard. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
Schinelli invited the I-Team out on one of his boats to show us how the bridges operate.
There are 21 bridges that need to be open to allow boats like this to get out to Lake Michigan and back. 6 operators are in control of operating all of them, which means that there are about half of these bridges that are operated remotely.
The first actual operator we're going to encounter in a bridge house is going to be on Wisconsin Avenue.
Mr. King downbound approaching Wisconsin Avenue Bridge. Mr. King downbound on Wisconsin.
The boat captain uses a marine radio to communicate to bridge operators placed along the river.
Security call. Mr. King upbound approaching Broadway and Water.
The remote bridge operators rely on cameras along the bridges to show them if it's safe to open. But the I-Team learned those cameras don't record video and they don't have sound. We learned that by watching Alderman Bob Bauman, who is the chair of the Public Works Committee. He questioned the interim commissioner of the city's Department of Public Works, Gerald Kruschke, during a committee meeting on September 8th. DPW declined an interview, but directed us to the comments made during that meeting.
Have we corrected that problem? Are we recording video today?
This is one of the things we're looking at now as we start, because we would have to upgrade the system, so that is one thing that we're looking at.
I would have done that. I would have started that process the next day. Why didn't we?
Well,
I mean, that's a huge, I mean, it's a problem for everybody. It's a problem for the guilty. It's a problem for the innocent.
Correct.
Do these videos have sound?
I don't think they have sound.
No.
They should. So you wouldn't hear, so the operator would not hear someone yelling, screaming.
Correct.
Stop the bridge, lower the bridge, anything like that.
Right.
They have no ability to hear that.
Correct.
Right now, there's no proof either of those factors played a role in the deadly fall. In that meeting, DPW said it's currently looking into what it would cost the city to have an operator at every bridge moving forward. As an experienced boater, Schinelli says 99% of the time, the bridges operate smoothly, but he says someone losing their life due to an error is unacceptable.
I would like to see the operators get some help. I mean, there's a lot of women and men on those bridges that are very resourceful. They can communicate, they work with us, they work with their supervisors.
DPW also said it's looking into adding signs around the bridge to warn pedestrians that the bridges move, and possibly in the future, adding motion-censored cameras. As far as Attorney Urban is concerned, safety should not have a price tag.
We're all taxpayers, so I understand that we have to be efficient, but you have to start with safety. If you start with safety, then everything else follows. Once it's safe enough, then you're okay. Anything could have helped.
We reached out to the mayor's office for an interview about what can be done to improve bridge operations. They declined to comment because of the pending litigation. The attorney for the family tells us they're not trying to settle this in court. They just want to see safety improvements for the bridge. Reporting for the I-Team, I'm Sean Gallagher.